find it. It's not working. It's, we've just had a big, big, maybe I need to turn around, big storm. There's already somebody out there on the jet ski. So we did not do trifecta last night because, why? Oh, because I had a house full of teenagers for dinner. Mm-hmm. So we didn't do it. And then tonight we were going to do it. And my friend Kate Swenson is coming on, and my friend Carrie Curiello is not coming on because they were having what I call forced family fun. You know, they were going to a movie, I think. So anyway, so it's just Kate. And this is the last trifecta, or supposed to be the last trifecta of the year.
Oh, I just literally just appeared.
Well, I had invited you, but I didn't have to.
Am I here as my business or me?
I don't know. I invited both.
So I was in my notifications. Well, first I was making fun of you for not ironing your blouse. I mean, come on, Adrian.
This shirt?
Well, Mary Jo called you out for not ironing your blouse, and I was like, I tell her that every day.
Oh, that was last week.
And then I wanted to like share a photo of myself, but you know. So then I saw that I got a notification from you, and I clicked it, and then I was just here.
Well, Facebook has done something right. This is exciting.
It'll work for one day.
That's true. This is true. Well, we just had a big storm, and you said you've had storms all day.
We had so much hail that I could have made snowballs with it.
Oh, I like hail.
Well, Jamie's an insurance agent, and he left today for Canada, and he gets real angsty when it hails because his work, he gets a lot of work.
So is he gone hunting? What's he doing in Canada?
Funny story. So, I mean, not funny, but so for as long as I've known him, he's went to a place called the Boundary Waters, which is right outside of Canada.
Yes.
And you can't bring a boat with a motor. You have to portage and canoe. And I think the boys are finally getting a little older. So now they went to a place right near Canada where they could drive boats and stay in like cabins. Life
the
has
word
changed.
Canoe got me.
Yeah, sometimes people like will portage like 20 miles, like carrying their canoes.
Wait, use the word again. They'll what?
Portage.
Oh, I thought you were
so that's when they're like,
they're going to eat porridge.
No, portage. Like they'll do this, and then they'll have to carry it, and so they can only bring in what they can carry in their packs, which makes you have to choose between beer and survival.
And I
sometimes they choose
met
beer.
Jamie. He's not like a real, marathon type.
I was like, where are we going with this?
Like my husband adores exercise.
Jamie doesn't. No, he does not adore sweating. But when I met him, he used to winter camp up in Canada. And this is a true story. It would be so cold when they would wake up, they would have to put wash rags or like a rag in the hot water over the fire to get the icicles off their eyelids. Does that sound like fun?
No. Thomas loves exercise, but he does not like to go camping. Though he's never been camping. We've stayed in cabins, with no electricity. And he likes that. But I'm always so surprised. I have taken the children camping by myself.
Tents or campers? Tents or camping in a tent or camping in a camper?
No, tent. I'm a tent type. He's a camper type.
I'm getting too old. We used to, when we were first married, we'd take our trusty golden or our chocolate lab puppy and go camping in the tents. And when that sun comes up at 5 a.m. and it's 90 degrees. Why
is it so hot? Well, the last time we went, so there's this, when you come visit, we have this place called Cape Lookout National Seashore. And it's a national park, and it's about 7 miles out off where we go to the beach. So you can obviously take your boat out there, and then they have a ferry you can take your car on, but we always go on the boat. And they have about 12 cabins that are every national park, pretty much, not everyone, but 95% of them have places that people can stay in. So it's obviously way cheaper, right? So you could go to Yellowstone and stay in the cabins. You have to rent them way ahead of time. But these cabins are literally right on the ocean. So for
Fun.
$100 a night, you're staying on the ocean in a cabin with no electricity. But they have gas, so you can have hot water. But we went with another family, and it kind of had like two big bedrooms with bunk beds and like a middle living area, and then a big screen porch. And this monsoon came in that night.
Always, always.
And I
Never fails.
was like, thank you, Jesus, for not having us in a tent, because the next morning people's tents were like shredded. I mean, it was
And
bad.
the mud
Well, it
in the tent.
was sand,
Oh
but the
yeah.
sand had blown in. I mean, we got wet inside the cabin. It was so bad. Anyway, so I was like, I'm not going to take small children now that I don't really have tiny children, but like, I wouldn't take Amos in a tent anyway, just because
Mm-hmm.
who knows what could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he could honestly handle the heat and the humidity in there. You know how there's no airflow really. But he loves camping. So we camp once a year in a camper with
Well, a camper would be Amos's dream. We have never done that, and we
because
have
we have the
got to.
same child. So
Yes,
I
yes.
think I said this on my supporter live this morning.
It's-
I think Cooper would live in a camper. Like I think when I look to the future, he may like live in a camper in the yard.
Well, I saw one. That's funny you say that. Yesterday, we were driving back from Washington, D.C. My, oldest son graduated, and there's this huge RV place. And for the first time, they had the prices on them as you drove by on 95. And there was this one that was $13,995.
Oh,
And I was like, wow, that's not too
no.
bad. That sucker could park right in the driveway.
Yeah. Yeah, so
It would be
Cooper and Amos are very
so
similar.
happy.
Like
Oh,
they love a small space. Like they love I mean, we have a boat with a cuddy, so an underneath part, and I mean, he could live in that space for the rest of his life.
right,
Like,
right,
yeah.
right. Yeah, that would be good. You can rent RVs. Well,
We
I know
rent.
this.
Yeah, we
Yes,
rent. But I'll tell
I
you,
know this.
the only hard part about renting, and our family is still hard on things. Like we still have little humans that are just kind of, and Cooper can be hard on things too. So we rent one once a year. It's not cheap. It's
Oh,
not. And we usually always sort of break something. And then Jamie will yell things like, stop shitting in the toilet, like across the campground. And like, you know,
that's nice.
it's a really beautiful moment that I like to keep with me inside.
Any moment that involves camping, boating, parking,
It brings you closer.
most everything like that. It's like if anybody tells you, "Oh, our family, we had the most wonderful time. We went out on the boat."
You're lying.
They're lying. Or we love to spend time. We go do something fun. We went on Sunday afternoon and did this wonderful family adventure. You'd be like, lies. It's lies. Because people fight. They fight.
Yeah. And then, but I will doubt myself for maybe 60 seconds. Like, is there something wrong with our family? I do. I'll tell you that every time. I'm like, why are we struggling? But like we spend a lot of time on the water, and I'll tell you, kids are always crying and parents are always yelling. Like it's not just us.
Yeah, that's true. And your kids, I find that I love going on a boat.
So do we.
Anchoring the boat it's a problem. And our boat has this, it's supposed to have this like extra anchor where you just lower it down into the sand. And I was really keen on this anchor because I was like, this is great. No one's going to get yelled at, but it doesn't work. So instead, we get out to the island, and whenever we get there, my lovely husband starts yelling at people to get the anchor. Now, the anchor, meanwhile, is underneath like 40 people and a bunch of bags and cushions.
And very time sensitive. Very time sensitive.
Why isn't the are kept in a place that's accessible.
So they can yell. I don't know.
It would be like if you packed your car and you put your car keys under all your suitcases and then you wanted to lock the car and you had to unpack the bag. That's what it looks like for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have a lot of tide changing here. So the tide is always a real struggle.
Oh, and see, we've never had an issue. I wouldn't even know.
Well, ours, so it'll change 8 feet in the course of a day. So
Oh.
you could be swimming, jumping off the boat, and with 5 feet below the boat to sand.
Yeah.
It's not good.
No.
Not.
I think all our people want to know about graduation.
Well,
And I do too.
so I hadn't even talked about it yet. I did a subscriber video this morning. I haven't written about it. I have been in the full, I had a bunch of boys here last night and they left this
Oh, they
afternoon
did.
and headed to Beach Week. Do you remember Beach Week?
We didn't. I don't know what that is.
Well, we're bringing back Beach Week. Beach Week is after you graduate, you go to the beach.
We don't do that in Minnesota, but I like the way you
Where
think.
do you do?
Nothing. Fields, drink beer. I don't know.
Pig farms.
We
We do that in the winter.
We tip cows. That's what we do.
Now that is a thing where I live too. So they've gone to Beach Week. So about 40 of them total have gone down to Atlantic Beach, North Carolina, staying in a variety of places. And my
And no
sons are there.
chaperones?
Well, I'm going tomorrow for 2 nights. So no chaperone. So no, but like we have a condo, so we have neighbors. And Thomas has already called me and said, "How do you turn on the air conditioning?" And I said, "Well, you press this button. It's like a little air unit, wall unit."
Yeah.
And he was like, "It's not working." And it's, you know how hot it is down there. Hot.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that should keep them from having extra guests.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so they have been here and they just left a little bit ago, and that was good and fun. And we were in Alexandria all weekend. We were very busy. We had 2 sets of grandparents
Oh,
and 3 children. We did not take Amos, which I was really struggling with. We shared this about belonging to a person that can't be a part of the family for different things and different reasons. And we got there the first night. We had baccalaureate. So baccalaureate, I'd kind of forgotten what it was. It's basically a church service before graduation.
yep. I
And
remember that.
baccalaureate was a lot of singing, and like the students have these traditions where you're singing like a perfectly nice hymn and then they shout a part of it. And I really was like, "Ooh, that would have not been good." So that
Naughty.
helped me know. And we left, and that's what Big Thomas said immediately. It was like Amos would not have liked that.
Because it would have been too
So,
loud.
oh yeah, and startling. Like you didn't know it was coming. Like you're singing like, "Come, let us adore him," that kind of thing.
And the person putting on baccalaureate, do they know that this is going to happen?
I would assume so.
Okay.
I would assume so. This is only the first one I've been to there. So when I have another child do though, I'll let you know. But I'm assuming
I
so.
very much enjoy that.
Mm-hmm. And so that was good. And we had some meals, and my people are like, I have never felt the word herding cats like as deeply as I did this weekend. You would get one group, like I'd get my parents in some chairs, and then you would be like, "Well, where is Russell?" "Well, he's getting dressed." And then I'd say, "Well, my husband's gone to get his parents. Now they're all gone." And I would find them like watching TV, and I'd be like, "You need to come, it's starting." It
Where did
just
you
was.
stay? Were you all staying together?
No. No, my in-laws, my father-in-law went to this school. He stayed on campus. So they only had to walk 10 feet to their seats,
Nice.
which was, we would have not made it.
Yeah.
My parents and Thomas and I stayed at a hotel called the Lorien. And the day before, I had sent my parents to the hotel. I said, "I'll meet you at the hotel. I'm 15 minutes behind you." So I called them. I get there and they're not there. And I'm like, "Where are you?" My dad goes, "Oh no. Oh, it's bad. It's bad." I was like,
I love your dad.
What is happening? He was like, I mean, I can't even talk about it. We've got to recover.
You're
Oh,
lying.
no. How can I make this up?
What's
This is a
happening?
5-minute drive. So then I'm driving to the hotel and I see dad and he's walking behind a group of people and there's this gigantic the George Washington Masonic Temple, and it is way up on a hill, and dad is following a group and I guess he's going to walk up to this temple. Well, I've driven up to the temple, but I had never walked up the hill, and I was thinking he's going to die. Like he can't do that. But I didn't even stop. I just kept on driving, got to the hotel, and my mother is laid out in the bed with like a towel on her face. And I said, "What happened?" She goes, "Well, I don't know. I plugged in the address
I don't
and
know.
I thought it was the hotel, but it was DuPont Circle."
What's Dupont?
That's like where the White House is. And we were in Alexandria. So they are driving like into downtown Washington, D.C.
Oh, Dad.
on Memorial Day weekend. And my dad is saying, I told her that this did not look like Alexandria. And she kept saying, well, this is the address that I have.
High stress. So keep going. I have so many questions.
Well, I was like, okay, well, no more Ubering. I mean, no more driving. Like, this is not a good. So they're like, yes, 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 we agree. We'll ride with you. So we rode them there to the school that night, and then I got them an Uber to come back. Well, I texted them. The Uber was going to be suburban. I ordered it from the place, going to pick them up. Everything's good. Well, 10 minutes later, oh, and then I get a notification. It's no longer a suburban, it's a Camry. I text them. Now you're looking for a gray Camry. Well, 10 minutes later, they call me in a total panic. The car's not here. I was like, well, did you see the text? What text? I'm like, it's a gray Camry. Oh, well, that's here. I'm like, before you call someone in a panic, you should always check your text messages.
My friend Robin has this hilarious story of ordering her parents Ubers, and she said it was like the most stressful thing that she's ever done in her entire life.
I mean, I was like thinking, should I bring somebody to drive these people? This
Why
is too
was
much.
he
Am I going to be like
to the
this?
temple?
Well, he just wanted to see it. And so this friend of mine, Holly, he ran into, and she was like, you can go with us. So he was with her, but then he's not a real fast walker. So I think he decided like halfway there that this was not going to work in his time frame because he had like an hour.
And that's when you talked to him.
Yes.
You should have picked him up.
No, I wasn't going to pick him up.
A lesson to be learned.
Yeah. This is, I needed to get a full-on story from my mother before I got into his explanations.
So she was stressed about the going to the wrong location, and he was stressed about the walk.
Well, he was stressed about that too. She was stressed about the wrong location because it made her feel old that she messed up.
We all mess up stuff though, so she shouldn't have to feel
Mhm.
bad. I've messed up stuff like that before too.
Yeah, that's true. She has no sense of direction. Like if you did pin the tail on the donkey, she would like put a pin in your nose. I mean, cannot, she wouldn't know like this is DC or this is like Denver. She would have no idea.
I picture them like rolling, like that's like a movie. Them like rolling up to the White House, like guns drawn. Like, who are these people?
Well, when I was a little girl, we went to the Lincoln Memorial, and the Lincoln Memorial sits atop kind of a big hill, and there's a wide sidewalk, and we drove up the sidewalk to the base of the Lincoln Memorial. I remember it. I was about 9.
It was an
And
accident.
no, they just thought it was a road. So we just went up there, parked the car, and we get out. We're in a yellow Cadillac, and we're going to take a picture. And the security guards like come from all over, and they're like, you can't park here.
This isn't a road.
I mean, this is like the story of my life.
I love it. I love it.
So anyway, so that was exciting. But it was nice. School, the graduation was very early in the morning, and I was like kind of, complaining.
Like what
But
time?
at 9.
Ooh, that's early.
But I realized why. By 10, it was 198 degrees.
Oh, because it was outside.
It was outside, and it was hot, hot. So so that was good. And then we had lunch together, and then the grandparents headed on their way, and we went back to the hotel, and then we had a big dinner with about 60 folks, like basically friends and their families.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was fun. And the dads toasted, and then the boys each set a toast.
So now are they done with school? Like is everyone home now?
So Russell starts exams tomorrow. So I will be back in Washington on Friday.
To get him, bring him home.
Pick him up, yeah.
But is Thomas done?
Thomas is done. He is finished. He has ridden off into the sunset with his friends to the beach through Friday. And then we have a party here we're giving with friends from home. And then he starts work on Sunday at Camp Seagull.
And does he live at home during that? Or
No, he'll be at Camp Seagull.
Where's that?
So that is in a little town called Arapahoe. And it's about 2 hours from Edenton and an hour and 15 minutes from the beach. You have to take a little ferry to get there from the beach.
Oh.
And so that's where he'll be working for about 6 weeks this summer. And he'll have a cabin full of little boys. And he'll be on, I think he's doing sailing or maybe tennis. And then he has like nights off. So he'll, like every other night, I think he probably won't come home a ton, but come home and do laundry or get like food or something.
Fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your kids have the best lives.
Well, it's a very popular camp. I bet Sawyer would enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. And some of my best memories of growing up were camp. We had this thing called Luther Point Bible Camp and different camps. Sawyer's going to one this summer called Extreme Faith Camp through his Catholic school.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So I've heard it's like the best time ever. It's 6th through 8th that can go to this. And someone told him that you have to get up at 6 a.m. and pray. And he's like, I can't go. Take my name off the list. I'm never going. I know they're messing with him. But it's so funny. I'm like, oh, you're really going to develop your relationship with Jesus on this trip.
Yes. So there's a sports camp that my husband went to. My boys never went, but Sawyer's so sporty. It's called Woodbury Forest. It's a boarding school, and they have a 3-week sports camp every summer. And you just go and play sports all day long.
Oh my gosh, he would love it. That would be his dream.
That might be good. We might have to get Sawyer at Woodbury Sports Camp. Seagull is on the water, so it's kind of like this setting. So you learn to sail, and you learn to motorboat, and you learn, all sorts of things like that. There's a blob.
Oh, fun! A blob.
Yes.
Fun.
Yes. You blob. That's when, if you all don't know what that is, it looks like a giant, like balloon log blown up, right? And one person like gets on it, and then the other person jumps on it to blow the other person off.
As they should.
Yes.
Fun.
My subscribers love asking like questions. This is not the time to ask questions, subscribers. On subscriber videos, that's a good time to ask questions. Amos. So Amos is going to camp. I told you that. I think I've already talked about that, haven't I?
I know Amos is going to camp, yeah.
Amos is going to Camp Trinity, and Russell will be working there that week. And it's a Episcopal camp, but it has 1 week for people with disabilities. And one thing that's really neat about it is you don't ever age out. So like if Cooper liked camp, Cooper could go to camp for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
How fun would it be if we got Cooper to come and do the camp?
Cooper doesn't love the elements.
But there's cabins with air conditioning, and there's a pool.
Okay. Oh gosh, so fun. Yeah, he wants to go camping. His whiteboard right now says camping in a camper. That's what it says. Camping in a camper.
Mm-hmm.
Is Amos finishing up school normally. So we just made the decision and I got it approved to do half days for the remaining of the 7. But he just had such a tough meltdown, and he has not had a meltdown in so long that I'm not sending him to school tomorrow. I can't risk that happening at school.
Well, you had mentioned that last week and you said you had to get permission. What did that entail?
So
And
Cooper,
does he do testing at the end of the year?
we opt out of all testing. He doesn't do any testing.
Okay.
Well, maybe I don't.
So you
I don't
can't opt out in North Carolina. There is no opt out.
You can opt out in Minnesota. I think it would be so stressful on him and the person providing it. And so that's another conversation. Yeah. Anywho, which is a little bit unlike him. Like what we were noticing, like an uptick, and he's just so anxious for summer. All he can communicate about is summer, boating, swimming, pool party friends. That's just, this. Well, I called his teacher and had a phone call with his teacher and his para, and got this weird response where I was like, I think we should do half days. I'm like, I think I want to end on a positive note. We've had an up and down turbulent relationship with school. I want to end good. And they're like, we cannot advise. And I was like, oh, okay. You don't need to advise. Like, it's totally me making the decision. And it really just for a brief second shined a light on how it's so bureaucratic. And it makes me so sad sometimes. So then I had to call the principal, and he was like, well, I think we should convene the IEP meeting table, which is 15 people. There's only 7 days left. And I'm like, well, what if I just pick them up at 12:30 every day? And he's like, well, let's loop in the director of SPED. And then she's so awesome. She's a mom with an autistic son. And she's like,
that's good.
We'll excuse it. Pick them up at 12:30. But I felt myself like
panicking
because it's too much. It's just,
well,
and we have great relationships, but it's just too much.
Well, in North Carolina or in my school system, if you stay at school till 11:30 a.m., you're counted present.
Oh, what time's your day start?
It starts at 8.
And Cooper starts at 7:10.
But what I mean is they can't, I can pull him out of school really legally any day I wanted to after 11:30.
Okay, right? Well, yeah. And the thing is, I want to be clear, having Cooper home is not easy, meaning
no, I was just thinking that it's not like this is a real bonus for you.
Yes, it's not like so and we want him in school. He loves school. I mean, so it's all the parts.
Right.
It's not like we're off,
doing
fun things. Like I can't even like my husband's on 4 days, and like now, like tomorrow, I won't be able to walk the dog. Because just things like that, because I can't.
Yes. Well, and so we have had the same experience, which I've been so thankful for you, because I guess maybe this has been happening for years and I didn't know it. It always makes me think the medicine is not working at the end of the year. But now I'm trying to like push through and think, is it but is it anxiety related to the end of the year, where I then end up doing this like big med change, which is totally torturous because you have to get off the medicine, which is never fun.
Unbelievably hard.
So we've had the same thing. We had a big meltdown last week, and he knew I was leaving too, which that's like one of my biggest struggles is, do I tell him we're leaving, which causes anxiety, or do I not tell him we're leaving? And then maybe he's going to always feel anxious that I'm about to like skip out on him at any point, But I had a really hard time leaving him, and they were doing testing at school, and I thought the same thing. My trouble currently is that I am juggling Thomas. So tomorrow I'm going to go on this to chaperone a couple nights at the beach, and that's really important to me. I want to do that, and I think it's important. So I can't even have him stay home because I won't be here.
Right.
So he's going to go, but on Friday, I'm going to get back Thursday. I'm going to maybe not have him go.
Oh, you cut out.
And maybe not Monday. Monday is his awards day. So I think he'll be good to go Monday, but so he really just has, and we're going to skip the last 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday. So we're close.
Well, and we've talked about this where I don't know if Cooper, so I presume competence, of course, but I don't know what he understands about about summer. Like, I don't know if he understands all of that. What
Hmm.
someone shared with me, though, a teacher friend, is that the whole vibe in the schools is so different the last 2 weeks. It's like
Oh.
extra recess and ice cream parties and all these different things. Well, Cooper is a routine type of guy, so I bet that's what's happening. Is I bet he can sense the energy, and he doesn't do well with that.
And I think the testing, so Amos is doing is we're, work this is the first year of real testing. So we've been having conversations about, I'd like him to try. He passed his reading test, which was great, or like a part of it. And will you please call your brother and see why he's calling me? Right now. He wants to know where you put the spike ball there. It's in the garage in a box. What box? In the spike ball box. It's in the garage. Yeah. My people struggle to look for things. Like if you say something's in the garage, which is like the size of a car, it's on a shelf in the garage.
Is it labeled spike ball?
Is he looking where the refrigerator used to be?
Are you looking where the refrigerator used to be?
What's a spike ball?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, he found it on the shelf. Spike ball is at graduation they gave all these amazing awards like classical languages expert, and somebody took AP calculus in like the 8th grade, like clearly they're really good at math. And he was like, if they gave an award for spike ball, I would have won. Spike ball is, Sawyer would love it. It's a little net, and it sits here, and you take a ball and you spike the ball on it, and different people
Oh,
play together.
I've seen it. Okay.
And I bought them a new spike ball set because I knew that would keep them busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Couldn't find it because it required looking. But anyway, the testing thing, I was saying, I think the testing is making him anxious. And somebody was like, well, you think he's worried about not doing well? And I was like, no, I don't think that at all. But I think the discussion about it, what you just said, the talking, it's just different, and that's worrisome.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Even if he
Yep.
doesn't get the ramifications of
Yes.
he
Yes.
doesn't.
Yeah.
So that's tricky. Well, that's smart. I hope Amos is, I feel like he's going to be okay. He's down to like 1 week until he gets to go to the condo and spend the night, kind of like your camping thing. Like he's 7 nights, and that's a good number for him. 7 is not too, he doesn't like numbers like 12 or
Mm-hmm.
17.
Mm-hmm. Cooper, if the number's too high, Cooper will erase it off his board. Like it's like dead to him.
Yeah, and Amos will say, not 7, you say 5. And then you say 5, and he knows it's not 7, but it makes him feel better.
Oh.
Or he knows it's 7, but he can deal.
Yeah.
But he's it's like that song, tell me lies, tell me sweet lies.
Yeah.
He needs the lies.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I've been telling Cooper that we're going to take the Amtrak for 6 months now.
Oh.
I'm like, as soon as summer gets here, and we will take it, but I'm just not quite ready yet mentally.
The Amtrak.
We should meet in the middle. We should meet in the middle.
Okay, I went on an Amtrak with Amos, and it was like 4 hours, and he made me sit on the floor so I couldn't see out the darn window. And I was like, I feel like I'm in like a cargo box.
I'm going to Google this and find out, and you're coming. I'm going to make you meet me.
I think you need to find a very short flight to take, and I'll meet you there.
How about you fly to us? We'll train it. You'll fly.
No, but Cooper would like to fly. You could just do a teeny little flight, just you and him.
No.
She's so worried that it's going to be like taking an elephant, like on steroids on a plane.
Like it would be like your dad. Like I can't even talk about it. It's real bad. I would go underneath the plane. Do you have a private plane? I take a private plane.
Really, you would take a private plane?
Oh, in a heartbeat. If it was just us.
Because you're worried about how he would act.
he could never, and I try not to do
Oh,
never
I'm
and
trying not
always.
to laugh.
He could never sit in a seat when the plane wasn't moving without kicking and screaming and headbutting.
Oh,
There's just it's we're not there yet. He can't sit anywhere still that he has to.
Well, so what does he do on a train while you're having to wait?
Well, our trains have lots of room. So like,
Yes, they have disability seating, which is why we end up on the floor. Is that what you
yes.
mean? Like that's okay, he
Yes.
can do that?
And we've also only went 15 minutes, and there were like 3 stops or 4 stops within the 15 minutes, and then he was like all done.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We got burned up one time. Well, that's not true. My in-laws were getting on the train. They rode the train to DC this weekend, and it was 3 hours late. So they were at the train station for 3 hours. And that would have been not good for us.
No. So, and I fly typically once or twice a month for speaking things. And I would say since COVID, I can count on one hand the number of smooth, perfect things. Like I was just delayed like 6 hours in Charlotte.
That's right. Charlotte.
Another one was they kept us on the plane for 45 minutes after.
Mm-hmm.
There was no one to do the jetway or whatever, but things like that, I think he just can't. He's just not ready yet, and he will be.
Yeah. Well, and we did okay. We had a plane that we were flying down to see my mom and dad, and we were on the plane, and there was a terrible thunderstorm, and they were like, "There's a thunderstorm. We can't land, right?" So we're like, "Okay." We're riding around, and they didn't say it, and I was like, "We're not in Miami. Like we're in the Everglades. Like I see wilderness, no cities." And a few minutes later, they're like, "Well." This is the most brilliant sentence I've ever heard. We don't have enough fuel, so we're going to have to cross to the West Coast and get some. No one complains when you're on a plane and they say you don't have enough fuel.
No,
it was
smart.
Genius. If they had said we got to cross over there, because of the storm, I don't even know if we needed fuel. I think they might have just made it up.
Yeah.
So I knew somebody was going to say this. Our airport had a mock boarding of a plane for people with disabilities and made it like a real flight, but it didn't go anywhere. So Lisa, I think it is awesome. And I love the idea, but I've been thinking a lot about it lately because of Kate, really.
And we're doing
it because of Amy.
In July, just FYI.
Oh, you are?
We're doing it.
So the problem for Amos would be with that is that getting on a plane and not having it go anywhere would be terrible for him. Like he would not understand. I have to take Blair to the airport. She's doing this camp out west this summer, and I need to take her to the airport. And I really, really need to take him with me because if not, I'm going to have to like get a babysitter overnight. Like it's just not convenient. But I am like, there's no way I can take him to the airport and not get on a plane.
Right.
Right. So I would think for some of these kids, it's not security is not easy, but the getting on the plane and getting off before you fly would be bad.
But so here's what I'll tell you the difference. Cooper has never flown and wouldn't even know. I don't even know if he knows what it means yet. So I think
it would be fine with him.
Yep. And so we got invited to the Metro Transit station, which was so fun. And they rolled out the red carpet. Cooper got to go on multiple trains and do a train car wash and different things. He didn't care if it drove or not. So he's just different in that. I mean, it's just, that's not a thing to him. Yep. Now, if we went on the Amtrak, I don't think I'd be able to get him off that.
Yes.
100%.
We'll have people invite us. Like we had somebody say, you can now, getting on a yacht. He would probably love to get on a yacht. We got on a ferry and we didn't go. Same thing, because it was a brand new experience. So he was okay he just wanted to check it off his list,
Yeah. Yes.
But like the helicopter, the rescue people, they were like, he can come look at the helicopter. And I was like, no, he will want to fly away in the helicopter. There's no like looking at the helicopter.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So funny
Mhm.
to see what the triggers are with summer coming. Well, and summer for you and I with these, you have a lot of small children, which I do not have. I mainly just have people to juggle in Amos, but summer is a lot of time to fill up.
A lot of time.
What does Cooper mainly like to do in the summer?
So he's home all summer.
Yeah.
He does do ESY, which everyone always comments about ESY. And I just
Oh, I
want to
wish we had it. We don't have it.
ESY is wonderful, but it is a snippet of time. Here it's Monday through Thursday, 8 to like 11:30 for 3 weeks. And so I wish if it was me, I would do it full days for 2 weeks, or I would do it differently because it's
The 8,
so I'm
8 to 11:30 is
I'm
like
like
nothing.
walking on treading lightly here because I'm so thankful for what we get.
Yeah, yeah.
But it I don't even know if Cooper gets comfortable before he comes home. So we have that in July.
Mhm.
And then for the first time ever, he's doing a couple camps. And so one I'll probably bring him to. It's an afternoon camp at this OT place. And then another one, his para, I'm going to pay her to bring him. I don't know how it'll go. I don't know if he'll like it. I don't know. We're going to try. And then he will have his para come over here probably and swim with them. We try to get him to swim every day. We take him on a boat a couple days a week. But he's very content doing nothing.
Okay.
Very, very content.
So somebody just said every state has ESY, but Amos has to qualify. Well, Rana, I would tell you that it's called extended school year. And the thought is extended school year should be provided for anyone that is going to lose skills over the summer. That is what the law says. But I would argue that if you went around the country and you looked at small rural counties, you would find that coincidentally, very few of them had children that would lose skills. Do you see what I'm saying? If
What do
that
you
was
mean?
really, if that was the case, then you wouldn't see a spike in communities of wealth that have ESY versus ones like mine that do not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they say that, but if I lived in Miami, I'm sure, or if I lived where you do, Kate, I'm sure Amos would qualify,
Oh yeah, for sure.
right? So here, the only way they've ever had it that I've seen is that a teacher goes and visits you like, 30 minutes a week.
Which, yeah.
Yeah, it's not ideal. Well, we do a lot of swimming and beach, a lot of swimming and Legos and I try to get a babysitter a few days a week for a few hours just to get him out to go somewhere and do something fun.
Mm-hmm.
You
know what's interesting is I was just thinking as you were saying that about anyone with a loss of that would potentially have a loss of skills will qualify. And what's interesting about Cooper, and I'm not sure if this is the case with you, is Cooper actually learns just as much in the summer in different areas as he does during the school year. So where Cooper really has big deficits is socially, being around other kids, going to places. And so in the summer, Sawyer always has a buddy over. There's always kids running around. So we actually see I would say he sometimes loses skills during the school year or the winter specifically. It's interesting. It's just, but I'm so thankful for ESY, but I wish it was longer.
Yeah, you do get more playtime in the summer, I think, and that I can be like a part of it, I think that's what gets hard for me is it's just a lot of time together, not, like you're used to it with Winnie, right? Because a 3-year-old's 3 and they don't go off with friends where you're almost 11. Sawyer's 11, Amos is almost 11, and it's not like you're entertaining Sawyer. Sawyer is happy to be with his buddies and doing this together. So what I notice is if we go to the pool and we joined a pool because there are more kids there and it's just a destination for us. But those kids, he's getting so big and they're staying little. You know, like the big kids are in the deep end playing games, and they don't really know him well. Like at home, he's more included. So then it's like the 3 and 4 year olds, which he really enjoys playing with. But then I feel like I have to like explain, like, why is this big kid trying to play with your toddler? It's just, that's the part I really struggle with that.
So we had a really hard
Ugh,
afternoon, and a neighborhood friend came over with her 2 kids, and they are a first grader and then a little boy who's the same age as Harbor. And so, and they're small, like she's small, she's in first grade. They all went on the trampoline, so Harbor, Winnie, and her 2 kids, and then Cooper has to go. Like he cannot. I mean, he loves it so much,
right.
but he's not gonna hurt them. I'm not worried about that, but he's just so big.
He's big.
He's big.
Yes.
And so this is, I could say so many stories. I think we're kind of dealing with the same thing. We just had a picnic for the little ones at their preschool, and Cooper came and he did amazing. I was so proud of him. But then all the little ones were playing on the playground equipment, and Cooper was like lumbering up to the slide, and Jamie came over and he was like, he can't be on there. It's dangerous. He could fall and bump someone or something. And
Right.
I was like, you try and get him off.
Right.
You know, it's
Right.
delicate
Yeah.
situation that I don't have figured out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't either. And before we go, we're going to go over to my subscriber page. I do think that that's sort of the benefit in writing and sharing our stories is that last year we were at the pool and Amos, called somebody a bad word or said a bad word. And one of the, 4 year olds went to tattle on him because that's what you do, right? When somebody says, the F word. And the mom knew him because of my writing, and she said she took advantage of the situation when I went over to her to explain. She was like, "It's okay. I told him Amos has autism, and sometimes this happens." And it was so nice to like
Right.
not have to start from scratch.
So nice. Yeah.
You
100%.
know.
I get
So
that. I
anyway,
feel that too.
that helps. At least maybe we're making a tiny little dent in the world that they might see our kids on the playground and be like, it's okay. They're not, it's okay.
Cooper will be
Um,
happy to go to the playground, I think, when he's 20 and 30. And I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that looks
yeah,
like.
I wonder because you don't see big people at the playground.
Well, when I talk to the other moms, they say that they just don't go anymore, even though their kids would be very happy there. And there isn't a way to do it. There isn't a way to build a park just for them because we have many adaptive parks here. And I'll tell you, they're overrun with neurotypical
Yeah.
kids and there's not room for kids with disabilities anymore. There's just,
Mhm.
it's a complicated thing.
We do go sometimes at the beach. Well, it's so hot. We'll go like about this time of day, kind of later evening when the little people are like going to bed. And if he loves though to play with people now. Like he didn't used to care about playing, and now he wants to play with people. But his people are surfing, so it's like this.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes, I
and
do know.
and I will say the little kids like him still. Like he loves to play chase. Like you and I always say, like he and Harbor would be great
Yes,
together.
I think so. Best friends.
You know, that's kind of his age group. Was like the kindergarten crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, well, we're going to go over to my subscriber page and thank you everybody for joining in and getting ready. This is our last kind of big thing of the summer, though Kate and I are going to try to just do some random check-ins.
Yeah.
So
And
we're going to,
we have a big book meeting tomorrow.
yes, we do. Survival check-ins, summer survival.
Yes.
That'll be the new series, summer survival series.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Michelle just said my 24-year-old plays with 3 to 4 year olds up to any age at the pool, and the children love her, but it's a neighborhood pool and everybody knows her. Oh, it just makes it so
Oh,
nice.
I love that.
So
I love that.
I wish I could get Amos in the deep end. He's very scared of the deep end.
Oh, really? So yeah, and Cooper,
I don't know
he
why.
swims like a fish everywhere.
No, he's
And even,
a good swimmer.
yeah.
He can swim, but he thinks that deep end is gonna he thinks the Loch Ness monster lives in the deep end.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Yeah.
is terrified of the deep end.
Is he terrified of lakes or your
Oh
water?
yeah, he knows swim out here. I think he doesn't like it when he can't touch the bottom. Well,
yeah.
and here he can't see. The water is dark, but he loves the ocean.
Oh, interesting.
But
And
you
I'm
walk,
afraid of the ocean.
but you walk into the ocean. You're not just all of a sudden deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he likes. So I don't know, and he'll jump off the boat anyway. If I could figure him out, I'd be rich, right?
Okay, I'll see you on your subscriber page.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye. Happy Memorial Day.
Bye.